Welcome to the PRCI Virtual Technology Development Center. The VTDC is a center for users to visit virtually to analyze data collected during physical testing and to develop technology-based solutions to operating problems for the industry. This is an introduction to using the Materials Properties database. The Virtual Technology Development Center, or VTDC, is easily accessible from the PRCI homepage. After logging in to the PRCI website, simply navigate to Technology Centers and down to the VTDC link. This will take you to the homepage for the Virtual Technology Development Center. The homepage for the Virtual Technology Development Center contains three areas that I would like to point out. The top part of the homepage contains some information about the Virtual Technology Development Center. On the right-hand side is a document links area, which will contain access to supporting documents such as frequently asked questions, videos, or other informative information. To the left of the document links is an area where access to the databases are provided. They show up with a report icon and a description of what the databases contain. The reports contained in this area are dependent on your company's membership. Therefore, the content will change based on your login ID. The database that we're going to talk about today is the Pipe Materials Properties database. It's located at the top. Below that is access to a second database associated with ultrasonic meter testing. To access the Pipe Materials Properties database, simply click on the report, which will open up the database reports page. There are currently 3 reports in this database, the first being a crosstab report of the Sharpie data, the second being a Sharpie report, and the third being a pipe tensile report. Data in the database can be accessed by clicking on one of the report names, which will open up a search page. If the database hasn't been used for a while, the loading of this initial search page can take a while. The report contains a filter area at the top of the report. These filters are divided into 4 basic groups. The first group contains the time span to select the data you are looking for, the start and end of pipeline construction timeframe that the data is associated with, the start and end of the pipe manufacturing time range, the start and end of the specimen test time range, and the start and end of the sampling milling time range. Depending on how the data was entered, one or more of these fields should allow the data to be filtered to find the desired time range of the data you are looking for. The time ranges have been defaulted to include all of the data for the 3 other filter groups. As a starting point, leave the default filters in place and use the 3 other filter groups to see if there's data in the database you are looking for. The second group of filters are related to the pipe characteristics you are looking for. It allows you to select the company mill where the pipe was produced, the nominal OD and wall thickness of the pipe sizes you're interested in, the grade or specified minimum yield strength of the pipe, the long seam weld type, and the data source if it exists. The third group of filters are related to the Sharpie characteristics, the location where the Sharpie test specimen was taken from, if the specimen is from the weld or heat affected zone, the test orientation of the specimen, and the temperature that the Sharpie test was conducted at. The fourth group of filters are related to how the report is displayed. Grouping allows you to select break into groups, which creates the report group by company mill and nominal OD and wall thickness. Don't break into groups creates reports without nominal OD and wall thickness groupings. The units you want the report to be displayed in, the choices are imperial, metric, or both. And if you want the data to be displayed as tabular data, graphical data, or both. Now that we have a basic understanding of the selection process, let's actually use the report to extract some data from the database. As we talked about it, all of the fields basically provide you a drop-down list, so you can actually use that to scroll through and select the mill that you're interested in. In this particular case, we're going to pick A.O. Smith as the mill, and we're going to change this "Don't break into groups" as the option for grouping. This will allow us to see all of the data for the A.O. Smith mill. The final thing we'll do is, because we want Sharpie data and we're not interested in some calculated results, we're going to ensure that there was a temperature at which the Sharpie tests were taken. This will filter out any of the test data that's in the database without a temperature. If we click the View Report button, it will then go to the database and present the information for the A.O. Smith mill. What we see here is the blue data is actually coming from the pipe size characteristics. It tells us the mill, what the outer diameter is, what the nominal wall thickness is, specified minimum yield strengths, and other characteristics associated with the tests. As we scroll to the right, with this color change, we're then able to see the parent information of the Sharpie tests. And if we continue scrolling, we will actually see the individual tests for each of those specimens. If we go back here to the right, we're then able to now extract this information easily by clicking on and choosing what we want the data extracted to. In this particular case, we're going to extract it to Excel. It will put it into this file over here that's downloaded to your PC, and you're then able to open up all of the data that was extracted in that query into an Excel sheet that you can then do additional analysis on. If we didn't want to extract all of that data and we now wanted to narrow down on some data that we were more interested in, we can actually then select for NPS 20 pipe, and we can click the View button. One of the things that happens is, with this expanded report, the View Report button gets pushed to the far right hand side, so you have to scroll over to there to get it. But once you've done that, we've now then filtered the data set down to only look for NPS 20 pipe sizes from the A.O. Smith mill, and we can then see what the different grades are, as well as the specified minimum yields, etc. So we now know that we have a large data set that's there. We can then go over here, and we have a data set that contains data from 1952 on up. So now we can actually recognize that we can filter on sample milling date if we wanted to be able to get data in the time range we're looking for. If you're wanting to see it a little bit larger, you can actually shrink the filter selection by clicking on this dividing line. So now that you have a basic understanding of the report, the best way to understand and use it is to dive in and start looking for some information. In closing, the VTDC will continue to grow and include additional databases. You can contact us using the contact information on the VTDC landing page if you have questions or want to participate. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.